This is it. We're finally getting back up to the tutorial of the game, the very first episode, where we're going to get answers to some of the questions that have been plaguing this entire playthrough. It is going to be a lot more interesting than the Hawaii episode when it comes to hour-and-a-half long episodes of Persona 5.
Yeah, this is if the Hawaii episode was the low point of the episode, or the low point of the series, this is probably the high point, relatively speaking. Would you agree with that?
Maybe?
I don't
hard
actually
to
know
say.
what happened.
This is actually the point where I guess kind of like just to spoil thematically for the rest of the episode, I'm getting kind of into it. It only took 95 episodes, but like, hey, we got interesting stuff going on here. Things that I'm not going to be like, well, for Persona 5. It's like, no, this is actually kind of cool. But until we get to that point, we do have a boss battle to do.
Yes. And to
As
be clear,
always.
I am still the fresh eyes, ever the ignorant child. I don't know what's going to happen, but you've kind of set it up. You like what happens in this episode, and you're just frustrated that it took until episode 96 to get there.
It's the sort of thing that it makes me wonder, okay, maybe like Persona 3 and 4 were not like something that I dreamed were a good game, but it's just like, for whatever reason, the whole like stretching this game out into infinity was really what killed like a lot of the momentum. And it's unfortunate, but hey, at least we're finally getting somewhere.
We're getting to the answer.
Getting to the answer, the theme of this episode is going to be track of the same name from Jet Set Radio. Please listen to that on repeat for the entire thing.
By the way,
especially because we're already done hearing Life Will Change. It's so sad that one of the best tracks in the game, you know, because you just jump right to the boss fight. It doesn't really get that much play.
Also, very cool thing with the elevator. Just going down.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can. I think you can see where this fight is going right now, right?
Not quite. Just.
Well, hey, you remember the part against Boss Boo from Super Mario Sunshine?
I don't remember that offhand, but I think I see.
Okay, well, once again, this is the whole thing where I have way too much knowledge of the Super Mario game, so whatever. It's a giant roulette table.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for some reason I was gonna guess that, even though I didn't play the Super Mario Sunshine. Like, I don't know why. I was just like, yeah, we're on a giant roulette table and we're going to be spinning like balls. That makes sense to me. I just immediately internalized that without knowing.
You felt like a giant. Well, it wasn't King Boo. King Boo is a different character. That's the Mario or Luigi's Mansion. I mean, villain. Boss Boo was the character that appeared in that game. He had a big tongue. Mm-hmm. Anyway, there we are. Mm-hmm. So, gimmick fight.
Yes.
Of course, we're in a casino. Did you expect anything else?
It's roulette, and because this is Persona 5, there's no Russian at all. It's very slow.
No, that's Persona 3. She's going to transform into a big monster. We've had that happen with every one of the shadows up until this point except for Okamura.
Yeah, get over it.
Just sat in a chair.
Get over it, Makoto. Yeah, I was like, Goro.
It's like, I'm sorry to say this, your sister is a monster, but that's how everybody's shadow is. That's just the way of the world.
Also, I like how Goro looks in like an actual like cutscene. It is so ridiculous with the.
Oh yeah. Also, I didn't even say anything about it, but his whole thing, like, I was saying, I thought her reasoning was going to be a lot more noble than that. Is such a good Goro line. Also, it's the sort of thing that I would say, which is why he remains best boy.
Mm-hmm.
That and your HP. That's what that says.
Did you like this battle?
I gotta say, not a huge fan of the gimmicky portion, but when we get into the actual battle part, I mean, you'll see what I mean by gimmicky in roughly 5 seconds when I decide to attack when the wheel is spinning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As I is explaining right now.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, one of the reasons why I started to defend here, you can't actually deal damage to her until she starts like spinning the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
However, well, first off, not to main character.
Also, just from a character standpoint, saying there's no violence allowed in this courtroom that's absolutely rigged against you, that we know that it's rigged against you. That's a good establishing justice system line. Like,
And there we are.
Like, there's no fighting in
Yeah.
the courtroom. We can forcibly imprison you if you don't obey.
And I mean, considering that we already know what's about to happen at the end of this.
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, yeah, down to 1 HP every single time. Don't attack during the roulette spin. As tempting as it might be. I mean, I guess really at this point in time, characters do have full heal skills, so I could probably make it work. It's just,
Also, she has a ton of health, doesn't she?
Actually, she's not even taking damage.
Oh, okay.
That's still that's the unfortunate thing, because yeah, I know. That's why we're just gonna let her do it.
So it really is like a pure gimmick thing.
Oh yeah, at least right now.
Which I like that.
Until
from,
then,
like,
though.
a narrative standpoint. Yeah, is that your controller dying?
No. That's me always betting on black, as you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna be, it doesn't matter. It's cheating. She's cheating. You get it?
I feel like always bet on black is a really good strategy for roulette.
I mean, yeah, because like 50-50. Well,
it's
not
actually
50-50
not
because of the zeros.
Yes.
But you know.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's just like, really, I would rather go over to the blackjack table, but come on.
I mean, it just sounds like a really good, like, always bet on black. That's like a really snappy strategy. It's the same
We
as
already did this with turn of the century industrialists.
You think turn of the century?
But I don't disagree.
Do you think turn of the
That's
century?
why I did it.
Hold on. So, do you think turn of the century industrialists would like playing roulette, and would they always
Absolutely.
Say, would they always?
They were probably on the Steamboat casinos all the time.
And they always say, like, you know, Cornelius Vanderbilt is like always bet on black.
Is that what he sounded like?
I don't know.
Or is this another one of the things like the Jonathan Blow voice?
We've gone too far into Spanish.
Well, anyway, hey, we're doing this for like the first time in 5 palaces or something. I guess Madarame was the last time we did that. Send out Morgana because let's be honest, Goro and Makoto have a little bit too much connection to Sai to get away with doing that. And it sure does. Of course, what do I care about losing my money compared to losing health?
Yeah.
Like, I have plenty of it. I'm actually pretty rich from going into the metaverse, regardless of what they tried to convince me of early in the game. And besides, like, Morgana did kind of prove himself in the last dungeon, what with sniping the remote out of Okamura's hand, so, you know.
It is very cute to have a cat holding a bow and sniping with like a little like.
This is a battle of life and death.
With a little rubber band. Yeah, we're depending on that cat though.
We are literally depending on him to survive this, even though he apparently does not have any ammo in his. Whatever, it worked. And of course, I did go for the higher stakes because, come on, it's a cutscene, basically. Not that I care that much about getting money from her either. I mean, it's like, what does it matter? Yeah, obviously. I mean, we've seen the rest of the dungeon.
Okay, gimmick portion is over. Monster portion begins.
Monster portion begins. She turns into a boss from The Suffering.
That is really hardcore.
Okay, maybe not The Suffering. Nobody's gonna know what The Suffering is.
I have no idea
I played
what that is.
Darksiders on the channel. She turned into a boss from Darksiders. It's like a 90s comic villain.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
With quite the design, let's just say.
Yes.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yes. Well, anyway, yeah, things get a little bit. I guess that's her true nature. I don't know. Be okay with that. That's a cool nature.
Yeah, Makoto, stop being such a square.
Little Image comics for my taste, but otherwise pretty cool.
Except that your sister's way cooler than you.
Well, yeah. Well,
Kinda. I mean, in this form, yes.
In this form.
Yeah.
Look, what's your persona? Motorcycle? Anyway, there's a quick cut there because it took me like 3 tries to do this fight.
Does Goro have a motorcycle?
Goro should. You would think that he would have a motorcycle, right? If I said Goro's motorcycle, you'd just be like, yeah, right?
Like, and it's like white. It's like like the avenging. He's not one of those.
He's got it like it's super painted in like the black or the white and red colors.
Yes.
Okay, well, lightning. And if Sai has the ability to, she will just immediately target whoever is weak to lightning or whatever element she happens to choose here, which is a problem because she resists every form of damage except for the one that specifically counters what she does, i.e. What Morgana can do.
Morgana has to defeat Shiny and
well, I mean, I guess like main character could if he had like powerful wind magic as well, but
he doesn't.
Morgana, I think is going to be a little bit more effective at that.
Okay.
Still a super minimal amount of damage taken, but that's because I'm on challenge mode.
By the way, this is kind of a basic gameplay question, but do you need to have like a specific configuration of characters for each boss?
It helps, but it's certainly not one that is entirely required. Basically, Goro is the best choice here because, like I was saying, he's got sort of a jack-of-all-trades type of build, and the skill that I was using there is almighty damage. Nothing is weak to it, but also nothing is strong to it. Yep. So, being that she resists every form of damage that is not explicitly counter to electricity, that means that that's the only thing that's going to be doing a decent amount of damage.
It's force damage, so it's normal, kind of.
Yeah, it's like this is probably the suggested party. Because Morgana got the big heals and Goro's got the elementless damage. I guess Makoto's just here for thematic reasons. You know how that goes.
Of course.
So the strategy here is instead of having... If Morgana starts to try and defend, she'll just use the electricity on other party members, basically. But by throwing a magic reflecting skill on top of Morgana each time, that means that Sai will continue to try and target Morgana, but be completely unable to do damage.
So just
while he does a lot of damage.
To reiterate what I said, but more accurately, she has a ton of health. Like.
Oh, yeah, no, not only does she not take damage in the first gimmicky phase, she also does have a ton of health, but that's every boss in the game.
Yeah, I suppose.
Except for Okamura, but that's because gimmicks.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, since I don't need to defend Morgana from taking, with the magic shield anymore, I'm just trying to figure out what has a good wind skill while she's still weak to wind. And I guess it's Baphomet, which,
makes sense.
That's how you know we're the good guys.
Yeah.
I pull out that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, anyway, it's like she's too busy spinning the wheel to actually start hitting with the electric attacks, but the weaknesses remain. And now we got...
I do like how the so these all represent different skills.
Yep, these are all different forms of damage, ranging from just like your basic attack or gun magic, all the way up to Almighty, which kind of takes the form of the green squares on a normal roulette board.
Okay, so
because like I said, nobody's weak to it, but nobody's strong to it either, and that's why that's kind of like the super element.
Yeah, and I gotta say,
guess what happens in the next part of the fight. Okay. But until then, so she's bringing out psychic damage. The problem here now is that I don't have anybody that does good nuke damage that also isn't explicitly weak to psychic damage.
Now,
in other words, if I took out, say, Titania here, she would just get main character would get nuked immediately.
Now,
but not with nuke damage, with psychic damage.
I gotta ask, is the roulette an RNG, or is it just like a fake RNG where there are certain...
Oh, no, it's RNG. It is totally random
cool.
what shows up each time.
Oh, damn, that is actually really cool.
I did this fight like 3 times, and I got like different elements.
Oh, so you actually got like, when you heard about the double zeros, you actually got like a 1 in 36 chance kind of thing.
No, that's just... She cheats, remember?
Oh, well, that's what I was asking if it was an RNG. So she could cheat at that
part.
Okay.
But the elements... The like
elements
other
in
elements.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I got that. Yeah, I was gonna say that was like that's an interesting coincidence, but yeah, no, that makes sense. So she cheats, but there is RNG.
Yeah. I mean, well, until that point, like I said, so Makoto is weak to psychic damage as well. She also does deal big nuke damage, which is what she's vulnerable to at this point in time. But I don't want to leave her vulnerable to that. But I also don't really want to use the same thing because it's a real mana drain when I keep doing like the whole reflect deal. I can actually try and deal some damage here.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I do believe that the character that has the magic reflect thing is also weak to psychic damage, so that wouldn't work very well either. However, one of the things that I forgot about that I just remembered here is basically Makoto, being at rank 10 now, does have a very high chance to dodge psychic damage, which is, as you just saw right there. So even though she might get killed in a single hit if she actually gets hit by the psychic skill, it's pretty unlikely that it's going to miss. Or pretty unlikely that it will. It's going to miss a lot.
Okay.
You know, that whole thing.
How many phases does she have?
3, I guess. We've already seen 1. This would be... Yeah, there it is. Well, I tried. And having main character get hit was not great either. But that's also why I chose not to, take a character that would be vulnerable to psychic, because...
No, that makes sense.
The battle would be done.
Yeah.
Having everybody have super high ranks in each one of their friendships, social links, whatever you call it, also means that it's very unlikely the main character is going to be any sort of status ailmented for long. Everybody always gets like some sort of ability that knocks them out of that. Okay, halfway down. Now we get the final roulette, and like I said, since she cheats, she's just going to land on Almighty. There you go. You knew this was going to happen.
Yes.
And this is also where she doesn't use the Almighty attack every single round. Instead, what she does is she switches with some physical attacks. So I'm taking out a character that reflects physical and damage, and just like plain damage as well. And then I'm also going to defend with main character in case she decides to use the Almighty right away anyway. In the meantime, I am desperately trying to get just like everybody else to take her down as fast as possible. Although the start of this fight was a little bit gimmicky, I don't know. I think it's a pretty good one. The only thing is that the Almighty attack, even if the main character is defending, will kill him instantly.
Okay.
That's why it took me 3 times to do this. It's stupid powerful. It's a lot like the Big Bang Challenge that we saw in the Okamura fight. And there it is.
Wow.
And hey, look, they even got little fireworks for it. And then she buffs up a lot. All right. Like I said, she doesn't always use the Almighty attack. If she uses physical, I reflect that. Which, yeah, does a lot.
Nice.
Unfortunately, like I said, oh man, if she uses the Almighty attack even one more time past this point, so main character is just on constant guard duty.
Yeah.
I'm not even risking it. In fact, I think that, with Morgana, what I do is, instead of even trying to attack... Oh no, we're waiting for the heal first, right. Everybody else dodged somehow.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. I was expecting like everyone to go to...
Well, actually, I guess Morgana does start out with a skill on his accessory, which also gives him a one-time reflect. So, but like, hey, Goro got it. Good on him. But yeah. With Makoto, what I did was I took out one of the items that I had that will put a defense buff on everybody, just because... Again, I was still killed even though I was guarding in the last time I attempted this. It's like, God, it does stupid damage. Actually, that's not the defense. That's the dodge. Whatever, it doesn't matter. She decided to go for the physical attack again. Now I'm just like... Oh, I was really considering going for an attack there. But it's like, everybody else just uses their biggest hits and might take her down anyway. The big worry, like I said, was just her actually pulling out the Almighty attack. And there we go. A good fight, all in all. Well, that's one hell of a design.
Yeah, that is hardcore.
All right. I've said before, that's like sometimes it's very obvious when the Kaneko design, which ones are the Kaneko designs, and which ones are the new ones. Oh yeah, and also, she had a gun the entire time on her leg and never used it. What's up with like Dim and Okamura? It's like just not. Why are we the only one that can use guns?
Yeah, no, leaving it on the table.
Well, then again, I suppose that in her normal shadow form, she did have a cascade of chips that brought everyone that hit him down to 1 health, but still.
Yeah, it's wrong to cheat and put people in prison for no reason.
Right.
Thank you, Mikoto. Morgana is definitely my expression right now. Just, okay, get on with it.
And there's also Goro here too. Just like, hey, why are you even talking to the shadow? What does it matter? We're just gonna steal the treasure. Which, I mean, again, he's right, but Yep, we all had a great time. Okay, let's get out of here.
There's a real nice comic.
By the way, I'll say this right now. If you have any sort of light sensitivity, we're about to replay the entirety of the intro to the game, which I'm just going to blaze right through at like 10 times speed. So, just a warning there.
Yeah. This is going to be like even...
Skip ahead like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, even if you don't have...
Like, Jesus Christ, they actually made us do the entire intro to the game over again, verbatim. Like, with very minor changes. I can't even believe that. I mean, I guess, yeah, it has been like 65 hours in-game time, but I just, like...
It underscores, well, why did we have a game before this point? Like, what was the point of all that other stuff that happened?
Anyway, look, we got the attaché case, so what does it matter?
Morgana's face is so... I do like that.
Morgana's
completely just shocked.
No, we wouldn't. Did you see the character we just beat up? Again, it was a boss from The Suffering.
It's like all eyes go to Goro.
Man, who could it possibly be? Who could it possibly be? Just get on with it, guys.
Yeah.
I did it 65 hours ago. I'll do it again. This is a surprisingly, like, almost fourth wall breaking type of moment there for Ryuji.
Yeah. Hey, let's
He actually acknowledged that the main character doesn't fucking speak. Shut up.
This truly is a painfully reluctant reckoning or whatever.
All right, and now, just kind of get through here.
Yeah, I guess
It really is. It's literally look. If you want to get like the transcript for this part, go back to episode 1. It's the same damn thing. Well, except for this, you get a slight difference where Arsene shows up and is like, "Hey, good job. Hey, you're doing good. 65 hours into the game." Finally made it to the intro. The game's finally starting. I'm more or less impressed. Anyway, I'll see you in the final boss fight against Shido. Bye.
Yeah. I feel
it's the exact same guy again.
I feel like they really are putting way too much. Like they are feeling way too clever about building to the opening cutscene that we knew was happening for 7 months.
Yeah, 7 months in game, 3 years in real life. Yeah.
Never
forget.
Really, arguably more, because you really started before the English version was released.
Technically, I guess, but it's like, that was Garbo.
Only
So
formally, it's been 3 years, and that's a long fucking time.
I mean, you could say that informally I've been studying Japanese for much longer than
I
that
suppose,
too, as well.
Everything has been building up to this stupid...
That doesn't do as much SP restoring as I was hoping.
The stupid reveal that we knew was happening from the beginning, literally.
From literally the beginning of the game. And here's where I'm just like, okay, whatever, enough beating around the bush. I'll just go take out the one character that totally resists everything fire and then can also do ice at the same time, which I forgot. It's Baphomet, everybody.
The Rabbit Frost.
And there we go. We're done. All right, let's get out of here. We got more intro to zoom through. No, yeah. Shut up, Arsene. Look, I don't need you. Get back here when I'm fighting Shido.
Yeah.
When you turn into Super Arsene.
This is like really... this is really warmed over Evangelion shit. This is just like, oh yeah, remember your friends.
Hey, it's new content though, baby. We gotta have it in here.
Yeah.
And then we can skip right past it.
Yeah. Remember all the people who have, lived in you and that you have lived in. The Joker that lives in you.
That is not how I would describe social links.
It's
not even close.
Well, it's how Evangelion does it.
Oh yeah, I can't forget about Yoshizawa coming in here. Hey, remember how she's all like, oh, I'm no longer the weak person that I was before. Oh, it's been such a long time since we last fought main character. It's been like 2 weeks. And that was the first time that we fought.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, this, I gotta say that, and how did she even get in here in the first place? And you think that there would be more, that's something that they included in the intro. You'd think that the actual event where that took place would make more sense.
Uh-huh. And this would be really...
Nope.
This would be really cool if we'd established any characterization in the previous 65 hours. Like, oh, look, this culmination of all that you've done. It's like, well, no, we've not developed the main character at all. Literally, not at all in the last 65 hours. This has no extra emotional resonance.
No, and besides, it's just like the like sort of events happening here are not really in line with the game, the rest of the game at all.
Also, they're doing it frame by frame. Not a remake because they obviously just used the assets again.
Yeah, well, we could actually see the police director there, and everybody didn't have their portraits like silhouetted.
We definitely need another Igor scene there. This is important.
Oh, we super need it. We're gonna need several of them in the next hour.
Oh my god.
Oh, look, man. The answers don't come quick. Look, we all had a fun time doing the boss fight. Well, I had a fun time. I don't know if you did.
I thought it was enjoyable. Yeah, it was fun.
That was a pretty fun boss fight. It's just like I got to utilize. Now that we're actually at the point where I can create like super cool persona, where I have like physical reflection and stuff like that. There was, and like I could throw magic reflection shields. It's like there was some strategy there.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to use this episode as an opportunity to start talking in the voices because you're doing like you were starting to get into the I just wanted to play this game. I just wanted to play this game voice.
Oh yeah. That is a voice I do. That's the come on guys, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Come on, let's hope this works out.
Oh, we don't likely. Hey, come on, this is a cool game, right?
Oh wait, no, this is the frame story. What? Oh wait, no, I'm banned.
Thankfully, they didn't make us re-go through every part of the framing story as well. Yeah. I never noticed, but Sai paints her nails bright purple.
Oh, nice. I was just thinking it'd be...
That has nothing to do with anything. It
would be funny if we had to go through the entire frame story. Like, okay, well then you went after Kamoshida, and then you went after Madarame. Then you...
Yeah. And these are the people you met along the way, and then they do like each one of the openings to each of the social links and everything like that too. That's a pretty big stretch. We murdered one. I think we murdered several people at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, do they even have the death penalty in Japan?
Good question. I think they don't, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I thought that wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that seems super excessive. I mean, even after, like, you know, brutally assaulting and drugging a teenager, then to kill him. But I mean, hey, this is Persona 5 we're talking about here. Also, you know.
Wow. She's figuring it out. This is incredibly powerful.
Late.
Yeah. I like she's like,
and of course, you know, the other thing where it's just like it's taking place in a palace the entire time. Remember that?
I like that she's reading this. Like she's like reading this off of a book. Like, well, let's see. There's
in a movie, you'd think the character was looking directly at the script.
Yeah.
By the way, I would have sold out my friends. It's just at this point in time, I'm choosing the first response for everything. You'll notice that for the rest of the episode and maybe all future episodes.
Not to repeat myself.
Look, if you think Yoshida actually helped out in any way... I mean, Takemi, I suppose, at least sold his drugs.
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah, that's basically how I got... whoops. Passed that one too quick. Yeah, what about Goro? He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
Hung out with him in a jazz restaurant a bunch of times. But I mean, aside from giving him 20 extra SP and an extra level, it's like, didn't even get to the end of his whole social link thing.
Now, this is one of those things where, did you choose the first option because you wanted to, you know, like, because I feel like in this case, it's hard.
Well,
it feels like the dialogue options are actually meaningful.
Maybe. Somehow have my doubts. But let's just say, when I have to play this game twice, it's hard to remember what choices I choose. But if I always just choose the first one, then it's very easy to transcribe things.
Wow.
Look, like I would say, I know normally I would expect more out of myself as well, but we're talking about Persona 5.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, I understand. I feel like that's something you might want to look up, or whether that option has any implications. But then again, I'm not going to look it up, so...
Let's be honest here, no.
No.
Like, this is Persona 5, no.
This game has betrayed my trust so many different ways, in so many different times.
I mean, I'm watching the same way the main character has betrayed the trust of... No, the other way around. How are we doing this? I was betrayed by a lot of people.
I'm not doing the bit. I'm just saying.
No, I want to do the bit. Come on. Come on. What do we have if not for bits?
Well, I only have bits. You've got
it's true
knowledge of games.
Formed out of bits.
That's true.
Okay, I'm going to be honest here. When I mentioned that 50 episodes ago that it's just like, oh yeah, look at this pancake thing, that means Goro can... I did not realize that was going to be like literally the foundation for how they figured out that Goro was the one that betrayed them.
And
spoilers, Goro's the one that betrayed them. Oh, big fucking surprise.
Yeah. By the way, we looked it up and before the recording the last episode, and it was like, it's episode 41 where that happens.
Yeah, 6/9. It's like, yeah,
nice.
Because, you know, I knew that was the one thing I let you in on this episode. Basically, that it's just like that conversation was like the cornerstone. I thought that was just them being clever, but nope, it was very much intended. I mean, I guess I feel smart about that, but then again, Persona 5 has not been, you know.
It's totally, and you know, not that we're saying this out loud. It's pretty clear that they retconned that. They clearly just put that line about the pancakes in at the end. Like, they might not have even...
It's hard to say because I feel like this is the point in time that they started writing the game.
Yeah.
And then, like, everything from the Madarame saga to the Okamura saga was just them, like, exhaustedly trying to, like, fill out the gaps.
Well, there's two options, and none of them are good. One of the options is that they started with that line about pancakes, on which the entirety of the rest of the game depends. And
well, like the biggest twist of the game, the person who betrayed the team.
Right. And either they put that in, and then they built the rest of the game as filler around that, or they started with a bunch of filler and then they put that in to retcon. Like they did one of those two things, and that's actually that's logical. You can't.
Now this is interesting. Wait, you were caught in the act with some, which means that this was the point in time where I'm just like, wait a second, is this actually fucking taking place in the real world? Wait a second, but we didn't actually. Are you telling me that the police got into the palace to arrest me? Wait, what? Wait, what?
I honestly, so
was I wrong?
So,
like the entire reason why I assumed that it was taking place in a palace, in Nejima's palace, is because Nejima was like the main character for the entire framing story here, and they never actually left it. But apparently they did, because the police got into the. So I was wrong on that, which is kind of surprising.
Just to be clear, Goro.
But I came to the right conclusion.
So let's establish what is going on, because I don't actually know. You know everything that's happened, and I have no idea.
Oh,
you're just like
you remember that there were like 3 discrete cutscenes where we had those weird scene transitions.
Yeah.
Where,
No, and we're showing one of them.
They're just expounding a little bit more on that. It's just Nijima saying that the police found you in a weird phenomenon is like,
what is that?
That's shocking to me that they apparently got into that. Those were real police, and this whole thing where I got drugged and like assaulted by the police actually happened in the real world.
So this is happening in the real world.
This is taking place in the real world.
Okay.
Which is ridiculous, but I mean the other thing that made me think that it was still taking place in the palace was because it's just like, oh yeah, that amount of police and like the whole super harsh like interrogation that must be intended to. Nope. That actually happened.
Well, the only reason I thought it was.
Well, anyway, the other thing here is that it's just like, yeah, you remember when Futaba grabbed the phone? That was them basically bugging, or putting a wire on the phone. We kind of saw that coming, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Like when she after we had an entire scene, the white flashing scene. Yeah, the traitor. Who could it possibly be? But
so they know
they're trying to be cagey about this. It's like, oh man, the one guy that it's not a twist. It's just like, yeah, the one guy that would have betrayed us is the one that betrayed us.
Yeah, and the guy who coerced us into going in there in the first place, like that.
And then it's just like, this is his plan.
Again, is that really a betrayal? I mean, he's your best friend. We've established.
I mean, he is my best friend
within the social.
Well, after reunion.
Within the social link, but that's arguably, is that even canon? Like, is that? Are we establishing that?
And then it's just like, here's where it's just like, okay, this is actually kind of interesting how this is going here. Like, have you figured it out? I did. But, you know,
I mean, yeah.
That's because I've been paying attention to every fucking second of this game. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. But hey, don't worry.
Oh, I just
It'll
realized.
make more sense in about a couple minutes.
Okay, but you know that Makoto thing where she overheard the conversation? I realized that was just the Who Shot Mr. Burns gag where you can solve it. Like, well, I'll try my best.
I mean, well, yeah. And then I got a palace, and now I'm a real jerk.
Yeah, and yeah, he's just a total cipher. It's like, you know what? You got an honest look in your eye. You may have killed several people, but I don't think so.
Well, we at least did explain to her that we didn't actually kill those people, presumably over the course of this very long conversation.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about the true culprit and everything. Yes. All right. Maxed out and yet another social link, getting the ability to create Satan?
So you
the ultimate persona of the Judgment Link. So Satan.
You've been slowly maxing out with Igor and Sei in the course of these frame stories. Is that right?
I think we might actually be maxed out with Igor at this point in time.
Okay.
Gasp.
What?
It's like they're still pretending. It's like, come on.
But he was such a nice boy.
Well, he did blackmail us. Wow, what a promotion for a 16-year-old. And again, I suppose he has connections. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, Goro's the best.
Goro's the best. Such an asshole. And like we were saying last time, it's just like his entire ability to actually like play a main character while also being able to do like evil things is unheard of. Now, of course, much in the same way that when characters get on main character side, that they get kind of like, you know, fully dedicated to the cause. I do think that we're probably going to see Goro become total villainous, but whatever.
He's just so freaking.
We had a good time up until
He's just so gleeful. He's just like, I'm sorry, I deceived you.
Oh man, but saying that he's gleeful about that is an understatement.
You know, I feel like he should wear a deerstalker hat when he's out in public. Just go.
He already carries around the big dumb briefcase with the A on it. Is that not enough?
Yeah. Just wear it.
Yeah, that's a cell phone. Hey, what was that?
I think in retrospect they should have made Ryuji a big fan of Case Closed, or literally just like, you know, wear shirts with like Boy Detective.
I would enjoy that a lot. I mean, there is actually like another. There was a previous Detective Prince to Goro that was in Persona 4. It's like they could have done something like that. Told you that he really is very gleeful.
What? How do you say foolish woman in Japanese? Is it like baka, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Baka Joshi. Or Ona, whatever.
Yosh, baka Joshi.
Well, this is going to be a fun conversation now, isn't it? Hey, Goro. How's it going, my dude?
Haha.
Fuck yeah, he can actually kill people, and he was a main character. Also, now he just totally gets yandere eyes, too.
Yeah, they just completely changed his personality, it seems like.
You might think that it's just like, oh man, his whole like actual murderer thing. Surely you don't like. No, I like him even more now.
I do think it would have been nice to integrate his just new turn with his like smirking absurdity, like just like, oh yeah, gosh, I guess it seems I've killed you.
Did you not see the yandere eyes?
Oh, there
anyway,
we go,
finally
yeah.
He does what I've wanted to do the entire game.
Good framing there. You know, the shadow and him standing tall. He actually says case closed. That rules.
Okay, that's what he did in English. I mean, the really amazing thing is that he was able to shoot main character in the head without leaving an entry or exit wound.
Yeah. I mean...
Also, that's like actual blood. That's not like Hershey's syrup this time.
Yeah. Damn. That was
I know, right? Of course, it's like we did hear that whole conversation that they recorded with the traitor, where he's like, I'm going to kill him. So it's like that shouldn't be too surprising, really.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. We finished Persona 5, everybody. Mm-hmm. Hope you've all enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. This is
And frankly, like I said, took 95 episodes, but I had a pretty good time when we finally got to this point here.
This is pretty neat, yeah. So the game is over.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, we still have like an epilogue for everything else that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
That he just goes full yandere eyes at this point. Oh man, he's talking to Shido. Who could have possibly saw this coming? But hey, this does... Yeah, it's just like, I really thought that Goro would have just been like, he's just the messenger or the gopher kid or something. Like, no, he's actually the guy that murders people.
Uh-huh.
Fucking finally, a character that can murder people.
Yeah, it's weird to say that.
It's not like nameless.
Uh-huh. I feel like they're... I mean, yeah, honestly, they are nothing but cattle in terms of that they don't have any... they don't actually do anything, and they actually do mostly just sit around. So, you know, like, I kind of resent...
They're there to be herded. into, other people's waiting arms. Oh, and also, apparently the cat is not actually... I always speculated it's like Morgana had something to do with, like, Shido, like he was formerly employed by him. Maybe he was the original Black Mask. No. Apparently he has no idea who
actually,
that guy is. Smiling Shido, no.
Actually, Morgana is just a cat, it turns out. That was the reveal.
I'm still saying probably that like he was originally, I don't know, Wakaba's assistant. Also, well, I guess this character is like totally perfunctory. Bye. Now that Shido's been revealed as the real villain, we don't need somebody to monologue menacingly anymore.
It was definitely an important character. We know that because
never even got a name. Damn it, Shido! You could have at least said my name once. I had very little role in this story by the end of it, didn't I?
Well, that's the end of me.
Well. In fact, like the whole Alibaba thing might have been taken from, speaking of this now that we're bringing that whole thing back, it's just like the whole Alibaba thing might have just been taken from Futava's mother, and that's why like the Alibaba Morgana deal was a connected in the first place, which could have been clever, but boy, we're figuring it out way too late.
Wait, he came to kill him, not to interrogate him. Now, see, if you were doing this in like really, really good storytelling, this would have been intercut with like her realizing that as she's walking away too far away.
Yeah, this ain't no usual suspects.
Yeah, I was thinking of that exactly. Like, with the coffee cup. Like,
of course, it's just like how would she even be? Well, I mean, she knew that like he was the bad guy and everything. They played the whole like. She just heard the whole like evil conversation he had with Shido when they bugged his phone.
Uh-huh. And
oh man, isn't that weird?
I feel like
you get it? Do you get it?
No.
No. Okay. Well, don't worry. I don't know. I guess it's just like I had already pieced everything together by the point in time that I figured out that this is in the real world because I have to pay attention to every single word they say in this game.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like you get it here. It's like, again, this is way better than so much of what we've seen for the past 65 hours. Mm-hmm.
明智君だけど急に呼び出されて来られなくなったの。は？私が代わりに始末を頼まれた。
ケンジさんがですか?
Yeah.
あなた、ここに残ったら証拠隠滅で消されかねない。
Which you really should have seen that coming when you signed on to Shido's team. I mean, he basically kills everybody. That's just kind of like his MO, apparently. I mean, don't worry. With the way everything works, it's just like he's just gonna get killed anyway.
Yeah.
But hey, we actually get to see Anne doing some modeling for once.
Can I get you to look over here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm doing this in English because I didn't want to record this and try and transcribe everything later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like the actual game has a whole log that you can look back on and everything, and doesn't automatically go to the next line.
Have you do an idle thing, That cool?
What a surprise to think that the one behind all this is just a minor.
I mean, you say that, but everybody else saw it coming real easy. Ryuji, of course, knowing the main character is being tortured and might be getting killed right now, looking at shoes.
You stopped visiting so abruptly, everyone was worried
As you
about
do.
you. It's your second year, right? Are you still doing track and field?
Oh man, do I have a story for you.
Also, the young man continues to remain silent, refusing to implicate any potential accomplices. However, considering the number of charges brought against him,
I wonder if something happened.
Yeah.
You seemed stumped for once.
I mean, we were talking about last time how we never really get to see what the characters' lives are like outside of being Phantom Thieves. It's like, this is very refreshing.
Yeah, yeah, no, and honestly, they should they should have done more of this in the rest of the game.
Yeah. But instead, we're just seeing basically everybody try and move along after the main character's dead. They've been freed of his influence. It took so long, but the shackles that have been around
Well,
him.
he's so amazingly charismatic.
Yeah, well, now he's dead. Now he's an amazingly charismatic corpse.
It's still a mystery. Regardless, the police are looking into attempted murder charges.
You never turned it in? That's quite the surprise. I thought I lost it this whole time.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Your grades are
You're
excellent.
still
And your student council
gonna be.
president.
Yeah, look, you're not
I'm sure
Haru.
you'll
Yeah.
be admitted anywhere you apply.
You don't have to be sorry. Haru still has to be sorry. I mean, after all, the fact that her dad died is the entire cause of the...
Honestly,
It
that,
just unfolded.
honestly, pretty inconvenient, Haru.
I wonder why you turned.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Haru. What the hell? The hell even?
Speaking of which, it's so funny to me that we're
Speaking of which...
just getting, she's rich, and
Because of his previous record, he had to leave his hometown.
She likes gardening.
yeah,
Perhaps his motive
So
lies
she-
there.
Also, she got back with Haru's fiance.
yes.
Oh no!
Why?
But hey, we got to see this guy again.
Yeah. Well, did we ever find out what his name is?
Qualified to alter the world.
He will die like the police chief before we die. I love it. It's just,
That
well, police chief, you served your purpose.
in all
Time to die.
in all fairness, I do like that they're not just making it so that like okay, you're actually just everyone just lives happily ever after. Like she's with an abusive fiance because that's what the logic of her station requires.
Which is ridiculous, but hey, I'm kind of surprised that we got to see him again.
Well, no, I don't think it's.
It's just like,
Well, I don't think it's ridiculous at all. I think it's a statement that she's moving on to her life before she ever met the Phantom Thieves.
more or less. And that's kind of what everybody was doing. Even Ryuji was looking at the shoes. And apparently watching TV for 12 hours.
We got him.
We got him.
Well, anyway, now the main character has died. Now he's going to spend the rest of eternity with Igor in his jail cell. This is the afterlife, by the way. Didn't see that one coming, eh?
I didn't actually.
I kind of saw that one coming. I mean, I feel like if there was going to be like an afterlife, it would be something like
That
this. right?
does make sense, yeah.
Why, indeed? Well, because Gordo's a real bastard. That's why we love him.
That's scoundrel.
That's that. What a bastard.
Your quote unquote death. What do you mean, quote unquote death, Igor? You're gonna have to
What do you mean,
plan.
tremendous plan?
executing such a feat, but you're dead. You're dead.
You're dead. We saw you get shot in the head twice. Even though, yeah, again, no entry or exit wound. But Goro's that good of a detective.
This is a classic heist plot here.
Uh-huh. I mean, look, again, it's like I cannot believe that this is the crux on which like the whole plan rested. Yeah, you remember 7 months ago when that happened. But I mean, they did.
There's a conversation about pancakes, right? I just
Like it makes me almost feel as if like they were also doing the transcripting of this entire
This
thing
is
too.
this is like an Ender's Game / like just a a classic like, oh, remember that one detail 6 months ago? How could he have known about the pancakes?
That is exact. It's like God. Again, there were things that I knew about this game coming into it. This was definitely not one of them. It's just like it honestly shocks me that. Oh, really? That was a thing.
Now this is where and not to get too down on the writing. I swear to God, I'm not doing that right now. I guess I kind of am, but you
Whatever.
You can't do that thing
no,
where
we've never done that before.
You invent a false arc with the fall from grace in the Okamura arc. You can't do that and then expect people to care about little details like accidentally having Goro, quote unquote, accidentally having Goro overhear that thing about pancakes and then not call attention to it. You can't do 65 hours of overwrought filler and then where you even make up some of the plots and build to like assemblies that never happen and stuff.
I've got news for you. That's exactly what happened.
Because it's like, and if you're gonna build the entire plot around one slip of the tongue, then
Persona 5 says, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, you can't. You can't. That is.
Come on, try and argue. Try and fight against the dying of the light.
You can't have. You have to know the value of words before you use them to judge the value of life.
Too bad. That's what Persona 5 doesn't give a fuck about your writing.
That is kind of a quote unquote Chad move where you're doing that. Like you just.
It reminds me sort of like at the end of The Messenger in that
It
way.
reminds me of a lot like heist movies. Just this general thing where it's like heist movies where it's not like
This is very heist movie. Are you seeing what's happening right now?
where it's like all along they.
Of course, it's like once again, fucking finally, the main characters at least goddamn did something.
Yeah, no, and I'm not complaining about
It's
that.
like we all knew that they had some sort of plan coming up to this, but the way I thought the plan was going to go was way different. So I'm going to give them props for that.
No, you can't give them props just for being unexpected. That's not fair.
I don't know. I think the way they did, well, I suppose, look, we'll get into more explanation, and then you can pass your judgment there.
Okay, that's fair.
Don't worry, we got 25 more minutes to go.
Also, they should have had Goro walking with a limp the entire time, and here's the hallway where he starts. Yeah, we already did the usual suspect, but still. Still.
We already made the reference. And that's what main character thinks of your plot analysis.
You know what? It's like the Thomas Crown Affair thing. Yeah, again, can't have... His smile means nothing because he's never established any emotions.
That's like this is the first time he's ever smiled.
Yes. Probably literally in the entire game.
Isn't his entire life.
Oh, you know what? No, he smiled during the Yoshizawa scene, which was a retcon from Royal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I forgot.
I love that people are like, oh, he killed himself. Yeah, he had it coming. It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is realistic, though.
We talked before about how it's just like, this is a real, like, boy, they really do not present, like, the public of Tokyo very
In
well
fairness, that is realistic if you've been on social media. You probably shouldn't be for that reason. Like that's
God, I fucking hate social media.
Like good riddance.
By the way, does it make any goddamn difference if main character couldn't remember this or not? Like, it really doesn't, does it? So, the Goro's gonna fucking kill you. What are we doing?
So what happened? So tell me why it is that we didn't actually get killed in that room when we got shot in the head.
Now, are you actually asking me? Because I can give you the super short version, then we can spend the next 25 minutes
please give me,
just watching them explain.
Please give me a super short version, because I am actually a little bit confused.
Oh, the super short version. I mean, you remember how they were very, very insistent about being like, hey, you remember how the police building is right next to the palace, and like it's clearly the exact same when we're in our plain clothes and everything like that? Well, basically, when Goro was walking in to kill main character, he switched into the metaverse. And since Nijima had just spent 6 months talking to the main character, her cognition was that the main character was in that room. So there was basically a fake version of him in there. He walked in there, killed that version instead of the real one.
Oh, okay. So he only...
They were smart enough, and basically the whole thing with, like, show me your phone was to make sure that they knew when Goro was going into the room, because they couldn't have... Because it's just like what they need to do is they need to have his phone be activated remotely to go into the metaverse in the first place.
Okay.
Because otherwise they would have no idea when he's actually getting in there.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. And now we have to spend 20 minutes of them explaining exactly that.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's only 20.
But it's just like, yeah, the entire thing was, yes, they did, in fact, that was a fake version of that room, but it wasn't because they never left the palace. Apparently, Goro actually brought the police into the palace, the rest of the main character in the first place, which is a pretty ballsy move on his part, but that's what he did.
And Goro didn't realize that it was actually... Did he realize that it was the palace?
No, how could he? Because the entire
looks
thing
exactly
is that if
the
you're
same.
not in the palace, it looks the
It
exact
looks the
same
exact
as the real
same,
world.
and if they have their plain clothes on, it literally is just exactly the same for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, I mean, it would be exactly what main character looked like at that
Now,
point in time.
here's my question: is if you die in the metaverse, wouldn't you die in real life? Isn't that like I'm being glib, but isn't that
Right, but the thing is, that wasn't real life. That was in the palace.
right? But you died in the palace, didn't you?
No, I didn't, because the thing is, Nijima's cognition, like the way that she thought of things, is that main character was in that room.
Oh, I see.
So basically, in the fake version, in the palace, there was a cognitive version of main character in that
Okay,
room.
so that wasn't really him. So okay.
That was the fake version of him, in the same way that there was like the fake version of Anne in Kamoshida's palace, or the fake version of Haru in Okamura's
Okay,
palace.
so that does justify all of the.
It's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, no, it justifies.
Good job, writers. You got that's
Yeah,
actually
that's good.
You thought that one out.
No, and
I mean, it's just like, yeah, it was. I don't know. Again, for me, it was super obvious because basically they spent so long being like, hey, look at the building over there and how it looks the exact same as it does in the real world.
now see, my problem with that is again, like they're so plausible. Like they repeat themselves so much in like, oh, this is you can use a handle to open this door. Like you can't do that and then also have this heist level sophistication. I think it is cool though. Like, I'm just to be clear, like that is a really cool.
There is a whole question of just like, now, was it really necessary to have like a fake version of the main character killed, unless you were trying to fool the audience? Because I don't think that's super important. Like, they're gonna figure this one out real quick.
I mean, yeah, because the main character isn't dead.
Well, I mean, not even that. It's just like the whole like entry into the palace was only for Goro and whoever was standing next to him at the time. And then as soon as he left that area, it reverted back to normal, where main character, where it was just like layered over the real world.
So wait, just
it's like they're gonna see that there's not actually a body in there. Sure, you got like caught on camera and everything, which is why I'm sure everybody assumes that he's dead right now. And of course, Goro, like that was the plan.
yeah, no.
Like, he told everyone about that. Like, oh my god, he killed himself and whatever. But it's just like, as soon as you go right back into that room, it's just like...
So they all...
There's no body in there. There's no second body in there. There's no blood or anything on the ground.
Now, I have a question. Why were they all... Had they all gone their separate ways? Not just gone their separate ways, but already started... Like, was that whole thing where they were doing art and... like where...
Oh, if they even, like, let on at all, Goro will just murder them.
Oh, okay.
He has no problem doing
And
it.
they're not...
And he apparently has, like, the connections to make it basically... He can't be caught for it.
So, why are they all, like... Is that why they're all in the public eye or something? Or what?
Because they needed to pretend like they didn't know what was
They
going on.
needed to have an alibi, I see.
Basically.
And so they plotted this out so that they would have an alibi, like...
No, this is actually a very well thought out plan they had compared to most of the... And it's like an actual plan. And it's stuff that... This is like, finally some good food.
Yeah, no, it's like, I'm actually, like, surprised at how decent this plot is. Like,
I mean, it's
better than
again.
decent.
That's why I wanted to kind of get like your opinion on it, because it's like I saw it coming, but that's only because I'm so intimately familiar with everything in the game.
That's
But,
the thing is, like, you are intimately familiar with everything in the game, but like I feel like they were so I mean, they had
Took 65 hours to get
They
here.
took 65 hours to get here. They did outline all the rules and stuff, so it feels like it's earned in that specific sense. Like, they didn't give you rules and then break them arbitrarily.
Yeah, it's like they couldn't tell Sai about it, even though they explicitly had like the recording of Goro saying, "I'm gonna fucking kill this guy,"
And
because she had to have a very specific cognition of the main character in that room, so a fake one would appear there.
but I just feel like you can't do like
They couldn't go to the other police because basically Goro can just like kill them, and it's like as much as they don't want to just kill them because it's part of their plan to blame. Yeah, I know. Again, that's stupid because nobody could possibly know about this. But you know, their entire plan was to blame all of the other murders on them. So it's just like having them die abruptly would be pretty bad. But if that's what needs to be done, they can do that.
yeah. And so
It's the whole thing where it's just like these guys, the villains are so powerful that they underestimated what the Phantom Thieves can do, and I don't blame them because I underestimated what the Phantom Thieves can do.
well, they've never established the Phantom Thieves can do anything. That's kind of the other thing where it's like it's a very, very clever plot, and it's backed up by nothing else in the entire game that other than maybe Futaba in the Red Dead organization.
I mean, if Futaba has that sort of technical know-how, and we did see her grab the phone and everything.
Yeah, but have we seen...
But it's like, even then, I didn't mean that I guessed exactly how it was
Well,
going to
that
go.
doesn't mean... They haven't established these people as the... thanks to Akishi's lame acting, we figured out... No, he was... What are they talking about? Again,
this
the
scene.
pancake. Again,
By the way, it's just like they also didn't even need this scene. It's like Goro was already very antagonistic to them anyway. It's just like them bugging the phone didn't really need a reason for it.
yeah.
They could have just been like, yeah, he's a real asshole, so we bugged his phone.
And also, like... So, this is such a...
7 months ago.
Also, you can't do that where you have a full conversation like that and then also harken back to things that we didn't see. Like, we don't know for a fact that he was the only one who was talking about pancakes. Hey, we didn't say...
Well, I do know for a fact because I looked at the dialogue.
Well, you translated it.
That's how I sussed it out back in episode 41.
How did you...
I'm making transcripts of the entire game.
No, I know you know that, but I'm saying, like, how could you know that no one had mentioned... Maybe they had mentioned something about pancakes before we had seen that scene.
This is
You see
also
what I mean? Like, you're hinging everything.
This is also a video game where main character can't remember who Shido is just because, I don't know, it was like dark at the time or something.
So I think this is an incredibly clever ending, but the way that they're establishing it is pretty...
God, we've said that also for several other scenes in the game where it's just like, hey, I like this scene. Like, you remember when we first saw Futaba in Sakura's house and everything? Boy, everything that led up to getting us here sucked. But this was a good scene when we got here. I don't know. I still think that this is, like, better.
Oh, this is by far the best thing that the game has done.
And
it's an 8 out of 10, like... ending for like anything. It's awesome. No,
ending. You think we're fucking even close to it done.
That was a little bit of a sinister.
Oh, and don't worry. In the next episode, we're also going to get a scene that I have been told about. Basically, where two villains just explain their entire pasts and motivations to each other, even though they've known each other for years. Oh boy.
Now, in fairness, so I've been kind of comparing.
It's like they didn't tell me who it was, but spoiler, it's Shido and Goro.
I've been comparing this to.
Holy Christ! It's like, yeah, we had this whole thing where it's just like, no, I'm actually gonna praise the game. I think this is very clever and very well done. And then, hey, remember, this is still Persona.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I have to say, I've been comparing this to Danganronpa. Don't worry, I'm not gonna do it. But I also want to...
Danganronpa did this once every story arc rather than 65 hours of the game, right?
Yeah, but what I was actually going to say is, like, Zero Escape is probably the better example because they do kind of do that thing where they explain everything. You know, they go back and say, well, this is why we did this. This is why we did this. It's this really clever scientific thing that involves multiple branching paths. It's very, very clever. No shade at all. But when you're actually playing the game, the characters themselves are kind of like stupid and like ditzy. Most of the characters are ditzy or perverted or something in Zero Escape games. And when I played the first two games, like it's not.
They're anime.
Yeah, and they're not even anime. They're really annoying and irritatingly bad characters. Like, they don't really...
They're anime.
Yes, I understand. But they go back and they explain everything, and it makes it like, oh, that was pretty clever what they just did. So I guess in that sense, I can't unfavorably compare it to Zero Escape, except that those games were much better in the 65 hours, if you will, leading up to it. And that is a big difference.
Well, this is episode 96, so and it's minimum like half hour on average, probably like maximum about 40 minutes between like some very long, hour-long episodes.
Well, yeah, like and not even counting the stuff that you couldn't, like, you didn't put in every single run of a boss fight and stuff like that. So
right, true. It's just like you didn't see every attempt at a boss. You didn't see. Well, I cut out every turn-based fight, unless it was like a mini boss or something, or an actual boss.
Yep. But I will.
There were a bunch of points where it's just like, I'm gonna grind out burger eating.
No.
That you didn't see. There were some social links and whatnot that I'm just like, I'm not even.
But I will say this scene and
like and social link. Yeah, I've gotten like 4 ranks in and social link, but fuck.
If I were to like rank this game, I would probably bring it up from like single-handedly bring it up from a 3 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10 or something. And it would like be like,
I don't know, man. 65. Yeah, no, that's something you can say. Where it's just like there are some games that people talk about, like, it takes an hour to really get going. It's like 65 hours. To
get going. And it's like, okay, so if you
2.5 work weeks, please.
Now, here's a question. Do you think if they had gotten rid of like all the fat, not all the fat, because you know some of it is stylistic and interesting and stuff, but like let's say they get rid of more or less the equivalent of Dungeons 2 through 5. They get rid of all that extra exposition, all the stupid, choices that they...
The repetitiveness and everything.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just like there's still so many scenes that happen so arbitrarily.
Yeah, but let's say...
It's like they would have to rewrite a lot of
I agree. I agree. It wouldn't be an easy task, but let's say they do one palace for, I don't know, I guess Kamoshida would probably be very, very similar, and then whatchamacallit?
Get rid of Kamoshida being established as a villain 10 more times.
Yeah, exactly.
After they've already done
have
that.
a much more compelling second villain. Maybe even have it go right to Sainajima, and then that kind of thing. So, because clearly, I think at this point,
I think it would require too much.
Oh, it would. No, it would be a huge task. But like, if they did that. And they cut the fat in the game, do you think it would be like it would be worthy of its reputation?
No, it would be totally transformative to actually like. So much of it is stylistically designed to be bad in the story.
Oh, I totally agree. No, and I mean I'm not. I hope it's clear. I'm not defending.
It would have to be almost a completely.
Let me put it this way: if the game had taken place over the course of 15 to 20 hours, and all this stuff had gone in, like all the stuff that you had established, they only gave you 1 or 2 times with the exposition. They respected your time and everything, and it was.
But there were still so many, and now we gotta go talk to this character. Oh, that didn't go anywhere.
Right, but
now we gotta wait. Oh, I guess it was a prank, you guys. Now we gotta wait until somebody else comes up and tells us what we need to know.
Right, but here's the thing: that 15 to 20 hours, it would be 10 hours of gameplay. Like, that would be the other thing. It's different. Like, it wouldn't just be, you cut the fat in the story. It's also like now a much larger percentage of the story is, or the game is.
I think it would be too. I think you would have to change it. That is where I'm coming down. You have to change it too much. It wouldn't even be the same.
Yeah, so the basic problem is that they started with the idea this would be 100 hours, and they only started writing really in the last 10 to 20 hours. I mean,
main characters never started to do anything until this point, and then it's just like, and now it's getting good, but it's like. It would just be too different. Yeah, and it would be too different.
Okay, and to be clear,
can't compare it.
And I'm not doing this because it's actually this is bad. This proves it's bad or something. By the way, very Danganronpa aesthetic here.
It's been a while. We saw that like all the way back in the Kamoshida arc, those little cutscene things, but it took until now. The main character never smiles. He smiled once, and he was not that broad. Also, he was being very cocky in that chamber. No.
I mean, he was.
I mean, I guess he did have his legs crossed, which is.
Yeah. He smirked after he realized he wasn't dead.
And then he immediately passed out, apparently. By the way, all of his bruises and everything are gone, despite the fact it's only been one
Also,
day.
I feel like they did a bad, like, that was kind of one of those things where it would have been less confusing if they just had him less bruised. Like, it just feels like, because they showed him clearly getting, like, a wound somewhere, like, that, you know what I mean? Because I feel like without that, then it's like, okay, he's really wounded here and he's really wounded there. You know what I mean? Like,
I would have liked to have seen a change on the model.
yeah. Just a nice little touch that would have probably cleared up a lot of this plot for me.
That it's just like, yeah, for the rest of the game, he is super bruised up.
Uh-huh. Oh, he is for the rest of the game?
No, he's not. He should.
Yeah, no. And that would be a nice little, like, you know, the cost of the story, like, going through the hero's journey kind of thing.
But no, he actually looks totally fine.
Uh-huh.
Managed to persuade you. Yeah, I don't think you're giving the main character too much credit
Yeah.
here.
Was this canonically the main character's plan?
No, it was Makoto's plan in the first place, but like main character was the one who kind of figured it out. He was the one who told Pancake story.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And everything hinged on the.
And then they got Futaba, who did like the major, you know, snooping. And then when they found out that Goro was going to kill main character, that's when the actual plan
Now,
started.
to be clear, everything did hinge on that Pancakes thing, right? That is canonical. We've established that.
I mean, I still say that it's like if they just wanted to say, yeah, we bugged his phone because he's a real asshole. It's like that could have also.
Yeah. I guess in terms of like that caused them to be.
In fact, that should have been the first thing they did. You know, like, here's our plan. We're going to get him to come to the school festival, and then we're going to bug his fucking phone. Because that would be better than we're going to ask him the same questions that people have asked him on, like, national television.
Yeah, it might have been nice to have, you know, I don't know, you know, in a weird way, like the pancake thing, like, again, it's not like a bad twist. It's more like, you know, you can't do that in between a ton of skippable dialogue. You know,
like not even skippable dialogue. It was very much forced, like 7 months ago. Anyway, this is where they're just like, oh, so, you know, they just immediately put out a death certificate and they never checked. Somebody had to clean up the fucking body.
Yeah.
Like, come on, whatever.
Well, wait,
I still say that it's like, even though I'm still very frustrated with everything that happened up to this point, I just don't think you could change it to be good. It's just like, yeah.
But, you know, as far as
Oh, by the way, full disclosure on the entire series up to this point, since, you know, why not? I did know Goro was the villain the entire time, yes.
Okay.
I didn't know exactly how that was going to work out until, you know, we saw it here, basically. And I do know that there was supposed to be some sort of cognitive clone of main character that got killed at some point. I didn't know it was going to be here.
Full disclosure, I knew.
But I did kind of have a vague idea of those spoilers because I was around when this fucking game came out. So I'm kind of happy to at least see that it happened in a slightly different way than I thought it was going to.
Yeah,
but like,
you could have expected.
it's just like, even though I had like sort of an inkling of what was going to happen, it's like, yeah, I was not pretending the entire time.
So wait, how would the...
But I do feel like I should at least say that.
So...
Now, at this point in time, I have no fucking idea of what's going to happen in the rest of the game. I know the final boss theme is called Rivers in the Desert, and that's it.
Okay. Can I just ask?
And that's like, I know the name of a track in the...
So why would this have... If he had gone unconscious, like, during... Why would that have messed the whole plan up?
Because Sai need to have the phone so they could track exactly where Goro was when he was about to walk
Oh,
out the room. So it's like they need to have them basically close enough to each other to be like, yes, Goro is currently walking to the room here. Now we need to activate the device on... now we need to activate the app on his phone.
Yeah, this is great dialogue, by the way. Just Ryuji, like, is saying, well, I knew all along that our plan had worked out. It's like...
Yeah, of course you do,
Yeah.
Ryuji. It's like, yeah, whatever, guys. You know what? You actually did something clever. I'll
Good
give
for
it to
you.
Whatever.
Good for you. You did one really, really good thing, and that really is... You know, honestly... It's one of those things where you only remember the best things about a game for the most part. So that
Told you this was going to be better than the Hawaii episode.
yeah.
It's like it's like, yeah, when I was asking, it's just like, hey, did you figure it out yet? I was legitimately wondering, because it's just like, I think that there was enough surprises here that even I didn't.
They should have
So
had.
I was fucking wrong.
They should have had something in the game hinge on some dumb bullshit that they said in Hawaii. I think that would have been good.
I mean, that part I don't really like, but it's just like everything else, though, I think was
Yes,
pretty
yes.
cleverly done.
It was good for once, and I'm very happy.
Also, I'm shocked that they never told like Sakura up to this point that like Morgana does have human level intelligence.
Yeah, wait, and Sakura does not.
Like that would have been helpful to know a few weeks ago. Well, wait, when did we talk? When did we get the
Wait,
reveal?
can Sakura hear Morgana?
No, Sai and Sakura cannot actually.
That makes this conversation very weird.
Well, another thing though is that up to this point, main character straight up cannot leave the house because he is dead. So interesting things might be happening here, or at least fast things.
Wow.